Journaling has been one of the self-improvement habits that I have benefited from the most and that I have found extremely valuable in my own self-improvement journey. So today, I guess I'm just going to share how to journal essentially. So to start, I was just recently asked this question, like how do you journal? So to break it down, first you'll need somewhere to write. It doesn't even have to be a dedicated journal. Sure, you could pick one up on Amazon, but it could even just be like an unused notebook that you had from school, or even just random pieces of paper that you just stick in a folder or in a binder. So after you acquire that, and a pen or a pencil, whatever your flavor is, I suggest that you start out by time stamping every single time that you write an entry in your journal. For one, I think it's great because it gives you a little bit of a reference point to the point in time that you were writing, and also when you look back on your previous journals after maybe like months or years, you're able to tell and relate the current events that were happening at the time. Say your journal entry was in March of 2020, then you can be like, oh yeah, that was when the whole COVID thing hit. So you can understand that that's how you were thinking, and the things that you were writing down were relevant in that current moment in time. So timestamping is great. It just brings back a lot of nostalgia when you look back into your journal and your memory log to kind of see how you were thinking in the moment. So timestamping is definitely first order of business. And how I see journaling, I see it there being 3 different levels to it. So in order to start off, this is how I started out journaling, is I just wrote random daily recaps. Every single day at the end of the day, I would sit down. It would probably be at like 11 o'clock at night, and this was back in high school. And it would be 11 o'clock at night after my day's done. I'd sit down at my journal and I'd just write about what happened throughout the day. I went to school today, this happened, XYZ happened in this class, and then maybe I went to track practice or I went to work, and then maybe there's this funny event that happened at work, or maybe there's something that I really enjoyed at work, those types of things. That's really basic surface level journaling. And I think this is great just to get an understanding and to get a feel for getting your thoughts on paper and being more comfortable with how you are able to write in a journal, because it's not the same as it's definitely a little bit different than talking with a friend, right? You can be a little bit more free flowing with that, but when you're writing things down, it takes some time to comprehend what you're gonna take from your mind and then put it onto paper. And especially if you're using pen, it feels like it's cemented into the paper and out of your brain for real, if that makes sense. So that's a great way to get started with journaling, is just to write a daily recap. Or another thing that I've also found is very nice, and that a lot of people have done and recommend, is gratitude journaling. And that definitely helps as well, to just take every single day something that you're grateful for. It's a pretty quick entry, so it doesn't take much time out of your day to get in that habit of sitting down and writing something into your journal every single day, which I think is the first key point, is to establish the habit. And so you do that by either just writing daily recaps or gratitude journaling every single day about something new that you're grateful for. Now, second, I think the second level, deeper than the daily recaps and the gratitude journaling, is kind of like venting or just complaining, I guess, about your problems that you have in life. So this led pretty naturally for me off of some of my daily recaps. So I would just write about what was happening throughout my day. Maybe I went to school and then I went to work, and then this X event happened at work and it really made me frustrated. And then, I complain about the manager or the boss just coming into work and making us do extra shit that we weren't signed up to do, So I think the daily recaps flow pretty nicely into just complaining and, analyzing the events in your life and being a little bit more introspective. So that's the level deeper, I think, than the surface level of just doing a daily recap or gratitude journaling, is, doing some introspection, talking about your problems, so then they're just laid out in front of you. And then the third level of journaling that I think is the most valuable is to find and brainstorm about creative solutions to your problems. So we already just talked about having the level 2 journaling being that you write out your problems and you analyze the events that are happening in your life. And then that's like a great place. That's where I've stopped for a majority of my journaling habit, I guess, is I just write about my day, and then I wrote about something that was bothering me in my life, and then I kind of just stopped there. But more recently, I've tried to get into developing the habit of going even deeper than that and trying to come up with solutions to my problems. So this is where the real benefit and the real value of journaling comes in, because for one, you know yourself better than anybody else in the world. Like when you're having conversations with your friends about, maybe some girl problems that you're having, or trouble in school, or social anxiety, or depression, there's still a little bit of a filter that you put on yourself when you're talking back and forth with a friend, because as much as you might trust them, you're not going to just explain things in the black and white that they happened, or just super bluntly. You're not just going to explain the events that happened in your life. You'll kind of like dance around the topic while still getting across the main point. But when you're journaling, it's really a space where you can be unfiltered with yourself and just be super raw, because you're not writing this journal to impress anybody. And if you're not like showing anybody your journal, it's more or less just you and your own thoughts. So there's no reason for you to have to write out and like dance around not saying what actually happened or what you're actually thinking about a subject, because it's just your thoughts. You're the only one who's going to read it. And by, tiptoeing around the subject, you're not doing yourself any favors. And if anything, you're just going to confuse yourself even more. Whereas since you're in this like safe space, just you and your own thoughts, you can just say things how they are. You can just say it how it is. And there's no one judging you if that's something that you might fear when you're talking with a friend. And you know what happened, and you can be brutally honest with yourself, and you don't really have to hold anything back. And that's like the greatest thing I think about journaling, is that it's really an unfiltered space where it's just you and your own thoughts. You don't have to be politically correct. You don't have to, censor yourself off or have a little bit of a hidden layer that's there when you're maybe talking with a friend. It's really just a place where you can kind of analyze your own thoughts and figure out creative solutions to your problems. Because in these brainstorming sessions, when you just probe your own mind, we have all these thoughts just bouncing around our head at all moments of the day. But when you sit down and extract them out of your brain and put them onto the piece of paper, it really gives you a sense of relief, because you don't have to really have those constant thoughts on your mind all the time. And you can really fully flesh out an idea. So maybe you were having some girl problems or something, and then you can sit down, write about them, and maybe you were thinking about this scenario where, maybe I wanted to go, to this party or go on a date with this girl, but then you didn't know. In your head, you can't really fully predict, or you can't really fully walk through the idea and like map it all out in its entirety. But when you sit down and journal, you can say, okay, if I go out on a date with her, then this is going to happen, and then maybe this will happen afterwards, and then XYZ. And then you can really get through ideas more than you can in your head, because I think you have a little bit less capacity in there than when you it's like extracting pieces of the brain, and then new thoughts can come into your head, and then when you take them out, more can come in. So it's kind of just like a loop like that, where you're continuously taking the things that are out of your head, or that are in your head, and putting them on paper. So then it frees up extra space in your, it's like when your photos and your iCloud memory says your storage is full, then you have to delete some pictures, and then now you have more space to take more pictures or whatever. So that's like the basic framework of journaling, and how I've gone through my journaling journey, you might say. I mean, maybe I'll find a deeper level than finding solutions to my problems, but as for now, I think those 3 tiers of journaling are, for one, a great way to get into the habit to start off and to start being comfortable with your just journaling out your thoughts. 2, just realizing and pinpointing the things that are happening in your life that you're not really happy with. And then for 3, finding out solutions to the problems, so then you can actually go out and have like a game plan that you can follow and a blueprint, so then you can actually start making progress and taking steps towards improvement in your life. So that's going to be the video for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember to stay on target.